Yeah, he's donning the crimson mask after that move.
Every year since WWE 2K22, it's felt like I write variations of the same opening paragraph that ultimately end with one simple question. How does an annual sports game top what they did the year before? That question becomes slightly more complicated though when some, including myself, consider last year's entry to be the best it's ever been. WWE 2K26's answer is simple. You add more. Lots more.
Oh, baby. The heat is on. Check. They're separated now, but you best believe this whole match is gonna be like that.
This year, everything is expanded and built upon. And though no one thing feels like a particularly massive swing, every mode comes with incremental additions to make it worth your while. In fact, there was so much that not only does it feel like it's impossible to summarize concisely, but there wasn't close to enough time for me to sample everything in my few hours of hands-on. So, if you're interested in all the new updates to Universe Mode, Community Creations, My Faction or The Island, then I'd suggest that this isn't the preview for you. However, what I will do is focus on the central element that ties it all together, and the iterations that interest me the most, the gameplay. Small adjustments can be felt from the moment the bell rings. Last year's edition of Chain Wrestling has been expanded, allowing you to create moments tailored to each wrestler's sensibilities. With a quick press on the D-pad, you can now select to deploy unique motions, such as the handshake, a rush, or even drawing energy from the crowd.
The WWE Undisputed Championship, some call it the ultimate prize, and it's up for grabs here tonight.
There's also a more ambiguous approach option, which in turn creates a submenu that allows you to begin trading blows, engage in chain wrestling, or just have an intense stare down. What may appear to be gimmicky actually works surprisingly well, providing more cinematic actions to appropriately begin anything from a friendly rivalry to a blood feud. Previously, my default was always to run and attack, but these starting actions now add an extra sprinkle to the already impressive spectacle simulation. It's not going to change the way you play, but it successfully adds an extra layer of welcome immersion to each match opening.
Wait now, did you get a look at that? Just total rejection there.
Once the match progresses, things feel very familiar. Match fundamentals work very similar to WWE 2K25, aside from some subtle alterations to the reversal system, which is now more tied to the stamina wheels and barricade combat, which now lets you both climb up and duke it out during a balancing act.
I don't know the plan, but it must be dangerous.
Most notably for me though, is an update to the collision mechanics, something that feels like it's been neglected for a while now. Previously, discarded weapons lying around the ring served little purpose once they'd left your hands, often blending into the environment as decoration with no further impact on gameplay. But gone are the days of characters clipping through them completely, as in WWE 2K26, dropping a superstar onto steel steps, kendo sticks or steel chairs matters, with what I assume is a damage level increase and a new, realistic reaction animation. Whip Sami Zayn into a cinder block and it will break under his weight. Riptide Bron Breakker onto steel steps and his body will crumble around its shape. Discarded weapons now have added value and contribute another step towards matching the WWE television experience. The standout of these interactive weapons though, and my personal highlight of WWE 2K26, is actually a brand new addition for the series, something that feels like it should have been around forever but finally makes its debut this year. Thumbtacks.
Not the thumbtacks. He's taking things too far now.
Lift up the ring apron and your weapon wheel will now have a bag of violence ready to deploy. Simply pour the dozens of metal pins onto the mat and you're ready to turn your opponent into a human pincushion.
No, onto the thumbtacks. Just decorated with all that sharp and painful glitter now. Death by 1,000 cuts.
Man, and it's gonna get worse later.
Tacks aren't just reserved for finishing moves either. Any slam in the proximity of these nasty spikes will decorate their back, knees and forehead in silver, helping you finally recreate gloriously violent WWE moments like Cactus Jack's face-first descent into a pile of violent objects by a sinister Triple H. Thumbtacks, better collision reactions and starting actions, although fun, are all in service of matching the WWE product. As are micro adjustments like the new blood splatter effect that splashes the screen when you or your opponent gets busted wide open.
Ooh, nothing crazy punch to the mouth.
drama and storytelling are the name of the game, and this year also receives a vital upgrade in its voices, with the additions of Booker T and Wade Barrett to the commentary table. The latter not only offers a different accent to the soundtrack of your actions, but both bring a new sense of excitement that's hard to quantify but vital to keeping the series sounding fresh.
Oh, gets intercepted and that window of opportunity gets shut down. This is ugly. This is bad, man.
From playing, it quickly became clear to me the moment-to-moment match action has received a small but welcome improvement to the already successful formula. But just like in real life, a WWE's fans' appetite for chaos is only satiated with new match types, and WWE 2K26, much like last year, lobs 4 more onto the pile. 3 stages of hell, I Quit, Dumpster, and Inferno matches. The Inferno match, which surrounds the ring in a wall of flames, is undoubtedly the most visually impressive addition. Much like its sporadic appearance on WWE over the years, it's certainly a spectacle and a worthwhile inclusion. Although, like last year's Underground edition, it's hard for me to invest too much time into a match type that limits your ability to use every inch of the ring. And it always feels less enjoyable to me to conclude a fight in anything other than a pinfall or submission. Because of this, I didn't spend much time with this fiery new mode, but its addition is a welcome one, even if it's only from a WWE historical perspective. The Dumpster match also helps fill the gap in WWE's legacy. In practice, it's a reskinned version of the Casket and Ambulance brawls, but it's hard to see what they could have done differently from a gameplay perspective. It's also nice for 2K to tick off another match type as developer Visual Concepts slowly but surely works its way through all the crazy concepts that we've seen throughout WWE's history, regardless of their real-world success. Although saying that, I would be surprised if we see a Punjabi prison or Kennel from Hell match anytime soon. Feel free to shop me though, WWE 2K27.
A last-ditch grasp. We're down to one door, Mago.
When it comes to fresh match types though, the most exciting addition for me is the long overdue return of the I Quit match, notably different from the ever-present submission bout, which just limits a decision to a legal tap, rather than the all-out warfare and humiliation that the I Quit match can deliver. Proceedings begin like any other hardcore match, but instead of pinfalls or traditional submissions, the fight will now only end when you or your opponent verbally say I quit into the microphone, with the referee also audibly making requests.
Referee doing their one job here, checking to see if we're going.
No, refusing to give up.
How this works in practice is a quick time event that demands you mastering timings on a spinning wheel full of green blocks, which will shrink over time based on the damage that you take. Interestingly, unlike some of the other minigames in the series, the aggressor isn't directly competing for these green blocks. Instead, you can place pre-earned blockers to make the timing more difficult. There's a deliberate strategy to this, and I immediately found myself considering my submission requests more thoughtfully, making sure I had enough bank blockers earned by performing certain big attacks before commencing the humiliation routine. You can also increase your chances by using weapons like the kendo stick or steel chair in a submission maneuver, once again harking back to classic WWE moments. The I Quit match doesn't just feel like another match variation on the pile, but rather its own beast entirely.
Official.
All of this year's adjustments serve the wider presentation of WWE 2K26, and that ever-moving, monolithic WWE dragon that they're always chasing. Make no mistake about it, while the grappling has always and will always be the core of the series, the spectacle of WWE is just as an important part of the package. In my lifetime, we've gone from WWF Warzone's soulless arenas, and I can still hear that single voice in the crowd repeatedly telling me to open a can, to one-to-one representations of pyro-infused, sing-along entrances and accurate depictions of the ebbs and flow of a rabid live crowd. I have little doubt that WWE 2K26 is set to be the best the series has ever looked, sounded, and felt. And if you're a WWE obsessive eager to replicate the pageantry at home, then you've never had it better. And if you like that video and you want to learn more about WWE 2K26, specifically the I Quit match, where we have the exclusive gameplay reveal with me playing against the developer and testing out the mode to its full limit, then check that out here. And for everything else, be sure to stick with IGN.